Hey guys, have you ever been on one of those trips where you've packed so much stuff, you finally get to your destination, totally exhausted, and you start looking for the one thing that you absolutely desperately need at that very moment, and you can't find it. And then you realize you're not even sure you packed it. Then you think, man, I just need an aspirin for the headache. And then you're not even really sure where you've packed the aspirin. That's what we're going to talk about today. Not where you packed your aspirin, but to how to pack for a trip that doesn't require you to need an aspirin. That's today's video. I know that for me personally, there are two areas that are extremely stressful when planning, packing, and executing a trip. One is taking too much stuff. With the Spyder and the trailer, I have 30 cubic feet of space to pack stuff in. I think that's probably more stuff than we took to the moon on the Apollo missions. But it's easy to fill up what space you had to travel with. The downside to that is you have to lug all that stuff into your accommodations, multiple trips back and forth. Then, once you get inside your accommodations, trying to find something is troublesome, problematic, and just absolutely drives you insane. You're trying to find a tripod mount.
So we had to stop in at the camera store here. And why? Well, it's a long story. Actually, it's not a long story. Packed up the tripod to bring because we knew we were going to need a tripod, and got here and realized that I forgot the mounting bracket that connects the camera to the tripod.
So for me, I've developed a checklist system, which basically covers what to pack, when to pack it, because some things you can't pack to the last minute, like your prescription medications or my video cameras, because I'm charging all the batteries. How to pack, because I try to pack extremely light so I won't have too much stuff, and keeping my equipment organized so I can find what I need when I need it. Now I use a standard format, so basically it's the same checklist, just simply modified for the specific trip. We've got a trip that we're looking at coming up in about another 6 weeks or so. That trip is pretty much planned out with what I'm going to take. I'll start executing the checklist about a week out, where I'll start doing the checks on the Spyder, make sure she's gassed up, make sure I go to the ATM, get all the any cash I might need for the trip, start charging the batteries, and get everything all loaded up, and try to leave the last full day open for things that may pop up at the last minute that you need to take care of. And then the morning of the trip, I actually have a final checklist to make sure I don't forget things like billfold, cell phone charger, things like that, because it's stressful enough to forget stuff. So I try to use this checklist and go down it each time. It also includes simple things like make sure the thermostat's adjusted, all the doors are locked, all the lights are out. I also have a set of checklists that I use during the trip. For example, I'll have a checklist of video shots I want to shoot each day. I shoot a lot of video, so it's easier for me to have a format that I can follow. That way, when I load the raw video into my editing system, I can simply edit out the video to make the finished product as with the least amount of time as I possibly can. Just thinking ahead about what I need makes things easier, and using the checklist simplifies things even more greatly. When I'm on the road, as we did during the Asphalt Odyssey, I had a checklist for every morning, things I need to do every day, making sure the Spyder is checked, make sure it's properly loaded, make sure all the equipment's loaded, make sure my route's planned out, hotel, that sort of thing. And then when I get to my accommodations in the evening, I have an end-of-day checklist to make sure I've unloaded the Spyder properly, haven't left anything on there, didn't leave the GPS out for prying eyes and to tempt fate, and make sure I've copied and cataloged all my video. If you follow my channel, you know I have a tendency to lose video occasionally, so I try to minimize that by making sure it's properly cataloged every single day, and I use a checklist for all of that. Now my next system is to pack as light and as simple as I possibly can, especially when it comes to clothing. I will only take about 3 days or maybe 4 days worth of clothing. I try to pack synthetics so they will dry quickly. I use camp suds, which can be used for shampoo, body soap, washing dishes, and doing laundry. It's just a universal mild detergent. I can rinse out my clothing, hang it on the towel rod in the bathroom, and overnight they'll be dry and I can use them again the next day. So I try to just pack for about 3 days worth of clothing, no matter how long I'm gone, because that makes it simple. Now, I also take a base layer just in case we run across ice or cold weather, which we have a habit of running into. And my rain gear always stays packed in the Spyder. So Miriam and I's rain gear is always on board. Also take a fleece jacket. And that's really about it when it comes to clothing. Now, when it comes to the consumables like your health and beauty aids, it's easier to buy a larger amount, such as a 30-day supply. So I will take a 30-day supply of toothpaste and things of that nature. So I use a modular system for packing. For example, all my electronics is kept in one area so I can get to it when I need it. Then I have my kitchen kit, which is kept in one location. Kitchen kit would contain a couple of freeze-dried meals, camp stove, some water, some metal cups for heating the water, and some utensils. A toiletry kit with 30 days worth of consumables. And then I carry a small red fanny pack with me with the small personal things that I always like to try to keep with me at all times, such as a pocket knife, flashlight, notepad, pens, things of that nature. I keep a small medical kit with some first aid items on board. I also take a tool kit for tools for working on the Spyder and the trailer. It never leaves the Spyder, so I don't have to haul that around. It stays right there. Now, what if you forgot something that you absolutely positively have to have, or you run out of something? Well, I found that typically you can get it at Walmart. Most of the things you can find there. If it's something else, you can probably order from Amazon. If you can't find it on Amazon, you probably really don't need it. Nice thing about Amazon, that Amazon has the Amazon locker system. So if you order something and you determine where you're going to be at the time it's expected to be delivered, and you can find the Amazon lock boxes or drop boxes in that area and have it sent to the drop box. There's multiple YouTube videos on how to access those. You email the passcode, you go up to the lock box, punch in your accommodation, the door pops open, and voila, there's your package. The next part of my strategy is I limit the number of containers my stuff is stored in. As I mentioned, I have a small fanny pack that stays in the trunk of the Spyder. Some things are kept around the periphery of the Spyder, such as my sunglasses are kept in the dash area, along with some lip balm. The GPS, the GoPros, and the helmets, which I have on.
Now here you can see how we lay things out in preparation for the trip and keep things organized. Here we're using the bed in the spare bedroom to organize our gear and the containers we use. Now these two items will typically, for me, this is my gear here, fanny pack, black backpack, and over there is Miriam's two containers. Now, why do I carry more stuff than Miriam does? Well, I've got the electrical gear, video gear, and I've got the kitchen with the food supplies. Those things, kitchen, food supplies, electronics, in this backpack. Here is my shaving kit and my clothing. And when I talk about modular, we all probably carry our toiletry kit, shaving kit into a separate container. I use a Ziploc bag. I can see through it, I can fit more stuff into it, and it just works for me. When I say electronics, same thing. All the cables, portable hard drives, battery chargers are right there. Now, typically throughout the trip, the 4 big items in Miriam's pack and her suitcase will not leave the trailer during the day. If we need to get something out, typically we try to keep it in this bag, whether it be snacks, some extra water, my first aid kit if I want to take an Advil or something like that, and my little red bag right there if I need something like an extra battery for one of the GoPros. Now, to be fair, that is not the only thing we carry in the trailer. We carry some camping chairs. They fold down really nice, the Helinox brand, also a folding table. Those don't leave the trailer unless we're actually going to set them up right next to the trailer to have lunch. They won't go into the hotel room with us. So these are the only things that typically I will carry. Miriam's wheeled case with her backpack, my wheeled case, my backpack, and a small, and this has a handle, and this has a strap that I can string it across my chest so I can make one trip into the accommodations and we're set. So that's pretty much it.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but the more stuff you have to move into your accommodations, the further away the room is from wherever you parked your vehicle. That's just nightmarish. Next is picking the accommodations that make travel a little bit more user-friendly. Whenever possible, I try to find accommodations with front door parking with the exterior corridors. It seems like the more equipment you carry with you and the more stuff you have to carry to the hotel room or your accommodation, the further your room will actually be from where you parked your vehicle. That drives me insane. So I really like to be able to park right in front of the hotel room if at all possible. I found on the Asphalt Odyssey I was able to do that for the vast majority of my overnight stays going out. Coming back, it seemed to be the exact opposite. Now, one of the ways to find out if the hotel that you're thinking about staying at has interior corridors or exterior corridors for upfront parking is to use Google Maps. Simply go to the town where you're planning an overnight, search for accommodations, then use the satellite function in the bottom left-hand corner to find what appears to be a hotel with exterior corridors. Then you could use the street level view to take a look at the front door. And look, not only did we find a hotel, but there's a restaurant adjacent. Also, part of my strategy is to get a room whenever possible with 2 beds. Sleep in one bed and use the second bed to lay my gear out on and keep it organized. I also take a corner of the room, typically next to the television, and I will have a small area there where I will keep what I call the essentials. My little red fanny pack will stay there, the car keys will stay there, sunglasses stay there, my billfold stays there, my wristwatch, things like that. So everything I need to go and come into the hotel room stays right there. As to hotel room security, I did a video on that subject, and I'll put the link in here so you can go back and take a look at that. Word of caution, don't leave anything that you would really be upset if it got stolen if you left the hotel room. Don't leave it in your hotel room. So in summary, basically just plan your trip, pack light, pack efficiently, and use some basic systems to make your life a whole lot easier. It can make the difference between having an enjoyable vacation and a nightmare where you're going through 5 tons of stuff trying to find a pair of reading glasses. Use your overnight accommodations so you can have fewer trips from your vehicle to your accommodations, and even when you're in your accommodations, keep everything organized. Life will be easier, you'll enjoy your trip, it'll be less stressful. So I hope this video has been helpful. If so, if you have any ideas that you like to use when you travel to keep yourself organized and for packing purposes, put it in the comments below. And if you have any questions or ideas for future topics you'd like to talk about for Spyder Travel, just let us know. Put a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Feel free to leave a comment below.